So my name is Jennifer Crowley, and I was just giving you a little bit of my story, which is I have 10 children, and I have 11 so far and counting grandchildren. So my life has been homeschooling children, midwifing babies,
Wow.
and leading the charge for my children to learn how to think for themselves. That's been my life, right? My life has been that focus on those people. And when all of this started going down last year, in February, I started talking to my oldest child, who is going to be 34 this year.
Wow.
And I said, this is
And
not
you don't
okay.
you don't look old enough to have a child that's 34. You just don't. Well, I'll let you
Well,
get back to the
it's
story.
the truth. I was born in 68,
What's the secret?
Good genes, and as less stress as possible, which this past year has not
Right.
attributed to less stress. But I told my oldest daughter in February, I said, I see this going north and south and east and west. I don't see this going away. And she's like, oh no, mom, calm down. I'm like, no, And so I started right away. I started doing things like writing on my car, that we need our freedoms.
Yeah.
Why are we allowing the governor to take our freedoms? This is just the beginning of a loss of our freedoms. I started printing up papers and handing them out to anyone who would listen. And then as masks became mandated,
Yeah.
my first stimulus check came in and I said, well, guess what I'm going to do with this? And my children said, oh, God, what? I said, I'm going to start buying masks. And that's what I'm going to do with this money. I'm going to start buying up masks, and I'm going to have a mask burning party. So I created a mask burning party. I went and printed up flyers. I handed them out everywhere I went. And I burned $400 or $500 worth of masks. And had my grandchildren there that live here in the state of Maine, and I dedicated masks to each of them, that I was doing this to protect their freedoms,
Wow.
that the tyranny that was coming down the pike was not going to belong to them and their children.
Wow.
So I did that. And actually, I don't know if you know Crash Berry. Do you know Crash Berry? So if you look him up on Facebook and he hasn't blocked you, you can see a video he did on me. He called me a stalker of Janet Mills. So in my journey, I have done things like go to the CDC and protest that we need to be able to breathe freely. We need to activate our immune systems. We need to be healthy. We need to do these things. I started coming to the Capitol building every day for 5 weeks. I came, the first 2 weeks I came Monday through Friday, 2 weeks in a row. Then I found out when Mills usually comes.
Okay.
Which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
Sometime between 10 and 1 is when she shows up. So I figured that out from being here shouting statistics about the unemployment. I mean, at the point when I was here in October, November, we were already at $7 billion that we had paid in unemployment. I don't know what the statistic is today, and how many 325,000 families at that point were struggling to just make normal purchases as a family, paying their mortgage, paying their rent, paying their health insurance, buying groceries. And because they made a certain amount, they weren't eligible for the unemployment that they wanted, or going even to the food bank. So I was here spouting statistics for 5 weeks, and I actually got her on film. One of the days, well, actually 3 times I encountered her. The first time I encountered her, I was standing on this side of the street by the Blaine house. She came up there, I saw her, and I started shouting even louder. And she turned around when she got to her top step and waved at me.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's a CUNT move.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, that's just rude.
Right.
So the next time I saw her come out, I was hollering at her again, and she didn't even bother to look at me. But the next time, I happened to see the car coming up, and I was coming up the other side of the hill.
Scroll around. Can we see?
Oh yeah, so I was over by the Capitol. I saw driving up I was walking up where the flag is. I was walking up that hill from getting a new permit
Yeah.
because I was always getting a permit to protest. So if more people wanted to show up, they could.
Yeah.
And I saw the car coming up, so I ran up the hill. And her little bodyguard came up and said, "You can't be here." And I said, "Oh no, I have a permit. I can be here. I have questions, you know." And so I asked her point blank. I said, "What are you doing? What are you doing to protect the Maine people?"
And I'm gonna pan over because there's the Blaine house.
Yes. I was here when they were decorating.
There's the Blaine house.
All that money wasted on electricity. It was.
Okay, get it back on.
And she wouldn't answer me. She ran up the steps with her little bodyguard and didn't even turn around, didn't even give a response, and went in the building. So I've been a part of Beacon for Sovereignty from the onset of it. And
I want to come back to that in a minute, but I want to ask you about today.
Okay.
So, kind of the person that organized today?
No, I was not the organizer of today. So I am friends with all of the organizations that were here today. The Patriots with Attitude, Beacon. Yes, I can feel you. It's really disturbing, Sam.
Go to bfs.care, order your anti-lockdown signs.
Yay for you.
Paid for by the unduped.
Yes,
I like that.
by the unduped. Who said that? Where does it say that on
the
there?
Sign, yeah, down in the corner.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I know in Belfast is where they make those signs.
On the bottom corner.
That's right. I have some of these signs.
I
This
love
is a
it.
BLM sign. Would you remove it?
Right.
Paid for by the unduped.
Remove it, they'd be burning it.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter would be burning.
So I know Beacon for Sovereignty because I'm the secretary for the organization.
Okay.
And I help create events.
Okay.
We just had a great event on Wednesday. We had
what was
a
that?
St. Patrick's Day event, a fundraiser to help pay for the petitioning that we need to get done.
Okay.
So, because we now have 9.5 months before January next year to have that, or 10, 9.5, 9.5 months we have left.
What's the petitioning for?
So that if we ever are in a state of emergency again, that every 30 days there needs to be a vote, and it has to be a 2/3 vote in order for an emergency power to stay in place, so that the people can keep track of their power, have the checks and balances, because we don't have that currently.
So this would be a petition to put it out as on a referendum?
Yes. So by January it has to be.
Yes.
So we want to put this on the ballot, so it has to be done by January.
That's great.
So that was part of our fundraising to have the Free America PAC a part of our organization. And so we did that, and I do not know currently how much money we brought in from that event, but
you've got the ball
Fort
rolling.
Fairfield reported on it.
Okay. I'll
So
look that up.
yeah, if you look up Fort Fairfield, there's a little front page. I'm on there with a green mustache.
Nice.
No, it's not nice. It looks terrible.
So what was your role today?
Today, my role, I was asked to MC because I'm upbeat, happy.
You're kind of quiet.
Usually. Oh yeah, I'm quiet. I'm timid. Are you talking to me? So yeah, that I've always had this kind of energy, and it is clear, that I am not afraid to speak. I'll come here and scream by myself if I need to.
Right.
But so Johanna is right there with the blonde hair and the blue and pink in her hair.
Okay. Yeah.
She is the one that put together the line of speakers, and she was going to MC. And after Wednesday, when she saw me MC and host, she was like, Jennifer.
You need to do it.
Jennifer. I was like, oh yeah, sure, fine, I'll do it.
How many groups were represented today? Do you know?
Let's see. So we had PWA, we had Stacy. I'm gonna say 7.
7.
I'm gonna say we had 7
Do you
different
remember-
organizations.
do you remember all the
Okay,
names?
so we had PWA, which is Patriots with Attitude. We have BFS, Beacon for Sovereignty. Was the
Stand up.
Stand Up America, yes.
yeah.
And then the other organization that was with them, Make America Free Again.
Yeah.
the Health Choice Maine.
Okay.
I have them written down. The Mothers Against Mandated Lockdowns.
Okay.
There's a legislative one, and this is Gail LeDuc. She's
legislative
yes,
watchdog.
Yes, the legislative
Yep,
watchdog, and then also she has one more. Oh, and the Swinging Gate was also.
That's right, Swinging Gate.
So that's 8, actually, right?
Yeah,
That's 8 groups that were here. And I think there are more that were represented here with Facebook I don't.
That's a good assembly, though.
This was I was very happy. The very first time that I spoke here for Mainers Against Mask Mandates in the, more beginning, I'd say October, I think it was.
Yeah.
We probably only had a third of the amount of people that were out here today.
This was a really good group.
And I remember just telling them, put your boots on the ground and don't just be here. Go and now use this energy that you just received.
Do you think the number of people, the good turnout today was due to not having a lot, this is kind of like the first rally of the year? Or are just people more pissed off now?
I think there have been more rallies. We've been here. We've been up to the Capitol. We've had rallies. We've had places where we were speaking. We went to the Sun Journal.
Okay.
There's been a lot of little ones. This is the first large one that we've planned. I think it's the weather.
Yeah.
And also, it's been over 365 days now.
Exactly.
And so some people that were like, okay, I'll just go along with it, are kind of like, where is the line that we just go along with this?
Yeah.
And I think about this.
Right.
It's like anything, like when you have a issue bubbling up between a husband and a wife, right?
Exactly.
You kind of ignore it a little bit. It's there, but you're just like, yeah, whatever, that's them. And then you get to a point where you're like, no.
That's right. That's it.
So I think that's what happened when the anniversary came around. When we were at the Civic Center, that was a big rally at the Civic Center when they met. Okay. And, of course, we were voted down.
That's right.
We were voted down.
Yeah.
81 Democrats said they preferred us to receive federal funding and to stay locked down than to have a voice.
That's right. You're absolutely right. Isn't that unbelievable? It's unbelievable.
Do you see the look in my eyes
Let's switch gears.
Okay.
A little bit.
Oh God. Where are we going? Up shifting, down shifting? What's going on? Backing up?
What were your thoughts on the 4 years of President Trump?
The 4 years that President Trump was in office?
Yes.
I was very content with the way that he conducted business. I felt like his goal was, so this is me talking past, right?
Yeah.
I felt like his goal was to protect the American people and to introduce the American people to a better way of working with government. And it is more than the political correctness.
Right.
It is more about, no, we're not going to put our money here when they're not supporting us.
That's right.
No, we're not going to give you more money if you're going to keep sending us illegals that are crime lords.
Right.
And I lived in San Diego on the border. And so until you've lived on a border, you cannot truly understand what he was doing to protect the American people. Because now they're seeing a crisis at the border, but I lived it.
And kudos to Larry Lockman for coming up with this term, but I refer to Biden as Pino Biden. President in name only. Pino.
Oh.
President in name only.
Okay.
And look how quickly Pino Biden has turned the whole Trump immigration policy right on its head. And look, just in 55 days. And look what we have.
Have you ever heard that the person that speaks something is actually the person who's done something? Like in a relationship, when one partner accuses the other of, being interested in talking to someone else or being interested in buying a certain car when we know full well that that's not the car we're going to get. And that person that's projecting that is the one that's actually doing that.
Right.
So he was their whole political agenda was saying, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing the other. Well, that's exactly what they're doing now that they are in any kind of charge, so to speak. So I see it very clearly. It's like you were accusing us of doing these things, and now
Yeah,
what are you doing?
doing it.
We weren't doing
Exactly.
it. We weren't. You were just letting us know what was in the back of your mind, and you were
That's right.
planning to bring forward. You know, so being duped, yes.
So what is the, this is a question I like to ask average, everyday Americans across the
I'm
country.
not average. Come on now.
What does the mega, or what did, or no, let's keep it present tense. What does the mega agenda mean to you?
I have just starting, like, I'm at the very beginning of my very much questions. I've got questions now because President Trump, former, however we want to talk about him, because I'm not really sure what he is at this point.
Sure.
There's so much
Out there.
I don't know what to believe.
Same thing as Bill Clinton.
Right, exactly.
Approach.
I'm just not sure what his part is, because he's promoting the vaccine,
Yeah.
and
That's
I
disturbing.
just have to say, it really gives me cause to go, yeah, I can't support that. I'm
Right.
sorry. If this is who you are now,
Yeah.
which it's okay. You be you, you do you, but I would not welcome that back.
Right.
I would not welcome that back, because that is a huge Crisco-lined slope
That's right.
that we are creating
Yeah.
when we're going to start dictating
That
what
you
the
have
ants
to.
do in the colony is what we become then.
That's right.
We just become the ants in the colony.
Exactly.
We have no purpose other than to serve them. And so that's caused, I haven't dug deep enough yet. I'm at the precipice of my mind going tick, 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 yo, you just can't blatantly go around spouting, oh yeah, Trump anymore.
That's right.
Because wait a second.
Yeah.
But when he was in office, I was like, he was against vaccines. He didn't
That's
vaccinate
right.
his family.
That's right.
It's suspect to me if he actually really did take a vaccine.
Yeah.
It's suspect to me, all of that, and anything that has to be promoted and pushed to the extent that it is, and mainly free, and we'll give you money, shot in your arm and money in your pocket.
Right.
I mean, me.
Yeah.
And we want to get the pastors on board,
Right.
and now we want to get what?
Yeah. There's
I'm
red
sorry.
flags going off.
Yeah, so I'm like,
everywhere.
was he a diversion? Was he placed there? So
Yeah.
I know that sounds really conspiratorial, but I am at the precipice of, I need to start looking into what I really think, because they say, and maybe you know who they are, they say that how you end something is how you truly believed the entirety. And it was at your core, and that was just something that you had dormant until you were ready to bring it out of Pandora's box. And so I am concerned if we were given a divisionatory type, we'll give them this, and we'll get them all riled up and against each other, and then we'll, we were together to begin with.
That's right.
So that's where I am right now.
Well,
I was
this-
wondering that.
I love you.
Oh, are you going over to Black and Tan?
Yep.
Okay, I'll be over there then.
It kind of goes along the same idea that the most important aspect of a conversation between two people is when the person that's leaving's got the hand on the doorknob to get ready to go to open the door to go out.
That's very true, and I used to teach that as a midwife. I used to teach that to women. And when the doctor stands up and puts his hand on the door, he's not listening to you anymore. He has an agenda. He has something to say to you, and then he's going to leave, and any concern that you think that he has for you is gone.
Yep.
It's gone.
Last question I have for you.
Yeah.
And then I'll get out of your hair.
Oh. Were you in my hair? Oh my God.
You are a very involved political activist here in Maine. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
What would you say to all of the other activists across the country, and even the people who are kind of still sitting on the fence, haven't got involved yet? what would you say to them? What would be your message to them?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is probably the last thing that I spoke the last time I gave a speech, which was stop with the keyboard worrying, worrying.
Yeah.
That's not helping anyone. It stirs up energy that goes nowhere.
Right.
And it doesn't fill anybody's bosom. It doesn't give them the chutzpah to get out there and go do the next thing. I would say you need to find someone that speaks your language, someone that's doing something, or you see something that they're doing, and get involved. Because even if it's just making the phone calls, even if it's just writing letters.
Does making phone calls really make a difference? This is a question I'm asked a lot.
So I have two minds on that. Okay. The one mind is somebody in that office has to listen to every single message, even if it's a hang up, and they're probably writing down the phone numbers. Okay. So everybody is at least causing an inconvenience. And when there's a big enough inconvenience, that is the thorn in the lion's paw.
Yeah.
And when that thorn in the lion's paw becomes a problem, then they're crying and then they're talking. So what is it that no news or what is it when they talk about like people get bad reviews or good reviews? It doesn't matter. They're still reviews.
Yeah.
Your name is still getting
The
out there.
squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's bad, negative, or positive.
Yep.
It is definitely, it's moving. It's poking, prodding, getting somebody to stand up and go, oh my God, I'm so sick and tired of these effing, why do they keep calling about these mandates? And then, you know what? Maybe they'll think about it. And then they have a sphere of influence too. So I liken it to the starfish being thrown into the ocean,
Yeah.
And so that's one way I feel about it, is that it does do something, whether or not it's the intended goal. They have to listen, and
Yeah.
they're going to find out who you are.